It's been slightly over 2 months since the release of Garten of Banban 2, so of course that means that as the Banban tuber, it's time for me to review Garten of Banban 3. This is easily the biggest release that Garten of Banban has seen so far. There's a shocking amount of different areas, a pretty versatile set of gameplay mechanics, even more characters, and even more lore. And also, some of the most ridiculous and insane moments you will ever see in an indie horror game. I really cannot undersell how absolutely bonkers this game is. I have honestly never seen anything like it. So the way I'm going to structure this video is the stuff I actually like, everything else because this game still sucks, the absolute insane stuff, and then we'll give a conclusion. So yes, there are actually things I unironically like about this game. Not much. Very little, in fact. In fact, there isn't really anything I can fully say I like, because this game is so poorly made that even its high points are fundamentally bad. However, this is genuinely the best Garten of Banban game so far, and it does have almost legitimate qualities. The first almost legitimate quality is the Nabnalina section. Yes, Nabnalina, the female counterpart to the billion polygon spider Nabnab. This section is surprisingly similar to a FNAF-style game where you have multiple ongoing threats that you need to prioritize and counter by different means. There's this set of green bars that will every now and then become random colors. You need to change them all back to green quickly or you will lose. There are 3 buttons in the room and one will randomly light up and you need to press it with your drone before it's too late. And the main goal is injecting Nabnalina with these colorful fluids. The screen will display a color and you need to mix and inject the appropriate fluid. This is genuinely a decent idea that is somewhat fun. It's a nice juggle of mechanics, much like a traditional FNAF game. I like this part. Almost. However, this game is completely broken. If you start the game by injecting the correct color of fluid and continue to inject the same one over and over, you will win. This is not RNG based, this is not difficult to pull off, and this will work every single time. These developers legitimately cannot make a game that functions. This is the best sequence they've ever put together, and it can still be beaten quickly without an ounce of skill. The second almost legitimate quality is the sequence with Banbalina, Nabnab, and the Chad Jumbo Josh. This section has a lot of elements to it, so I will try to explain it efficiently. Jumbo Josh will check in on this room every once in a while, and when he does, the room needs to look exactly the same as it did when you first started. With a few exceptions, everything must be in its original place and everything needs to be in the same position as it first was. That is the active threat. Your goal is to hit all of the buttons in this room to get a key card, which can then end the sequence. You need to use these orange blocks to access higher areas, but remember, you cannot leave this out when Jumbo Josh appears, because the room will then be different. However, the orange blocks don't need to be in the place they originally were, so that's the exception. You get the first 2 blocks at the start, the third in this room by using the others as leverage, then you get 1 more from another room by, once again, using the other blocks as platforms. With these 4 blocks, you can activate all these buttons and then hit them. This is actually kind of interesting, and somewhat creative. However, it sucks! Big surprise there. First of all, you can only pick up a cube if you are directly on the ground floor. This is stupid. If you are on a platform, but higher up, nope, can't pick it up. If you try to grab it midair, that will in fact not work. If you try to pick it up while on a different cube, you ain't picking up anything. I don't know why this is the case, but it is, and I find it annoying. Incredibly annoying. The real issue, though, is this bullshit. You need to jump and press these buttons that are deep in these hole-shaped walls. It is fucking annoying. This isn't even an unintentional flaw. They just deemed this acceptable to be in the final game, and that makes me feel a lot of highly negative emotions. The last section that I would deem an almost legitimate quality is this boss fight with this incredibly freakish character. This is a 2-headed chameleon turtle hybrid. In this boss fight, there are 3 platforms and 3 buttons. One of the 3 buttons will turn on at a given time, and you need to hit it with the drone to release a firework, which you can then place on the tongue of the boss for them to ingest it. You do this a total of 3 times. The boss has 2 attacks that make this an actual challenge. One of the heads will launch its massive tongue at you, like I mentioned, if you are on the middle platform. The other head will shoot water balloons at you out of its mouth. Don't question it. So you have to make sure you don't stay on the middle platform when the tongue is unleashed, and you need to dodge the water balloons everywhere else. This is a totally okay part of the game. However, once again, it really cannot be called good because it has such a major issue that makes me borderline despise it. And this is not a new issue for the Garten of Banban series. I'm talking about hitboxes. Banban always has awful hitboxes. And it comes into play here because of the projectiles shot at you, the water balloons I'm talking about. You can be extremely far from the projectile, relatively speaking, and still die to it. I recently forced Gaming Age to play it, make sure to subscribe to him, and he was treated especially unfairly for some reason. I don't really know why this was done and why this is an issue, but it is unbelievably infuriating. Aside from that, and that's not an easy thing to set aside, this boss fight is one of the highlights of Banban 3. That is really all I have for the almost legitimate qualities. All three of these could have been good, but just aren't in the slightest because they are so poorly made. If they were just programmed by a more competent developer, or even if they just had a little more thought and care put into them, these could have been decent or even good sequences. But again, these are still the best parts of the game. Well, at least the best unironic parts. Now let's talk about why game bad. Woo! Did you know that Garten of Banban is bad? Yeah, you did? Okay, then I guess my job is done here. I am going to break this down and get into why everything in this game sucks, but let's not pretend that that is actually needed. Sure, this game is better than the previous entries in the series, but that doesn't really mean anything. If the developer is listed as Euphoric Brothers, it is not going to be good. But let's actually get into it, I guess. The padding in this game is actually incredible. The amount of filler sequences, unskippable and poorly made cutscenes, and simply unnecessary moments is unlike anything I've ever seen before. So let's run through the game and just talk about why this is surely a game that exists. At the very start of the game, you need to collect 2 batteries, but you cannot pick one of them up until Banban is finished talking. Then you go to the next room where you have to pick up crayons, and you cannot pick up these crayons until Banban is finished talking again. And when you're done picking up all these crayons and depositing them into this hole in the wall, this stupid thing on the ceiling needs to go around the room to scan the floors. And you need to wait for the process to finish. And it lasts a while. And say you missed a crayon, well, you have to deposit that one and sit through the scanning process again. Then we meet Stinger Flynn, and the reason I'm not saving this for the absolute insanity segment is because literally nothing happens. Stinger Flynn talks for such a goddamn long time, and not a single ounce of it is even remotely interesting. After he's done talking, we are brought to a beach, where Stinger Flynn delivers another monologue that I don't fucking care about. This place does at least have Zolphius though, so I'm gonna take what I can get. But yeah, this moment is once again not even a little bit interesting, and goes on for way too long. I genuinely do not care about what this character has to say, because they don't really have anything to say. They just use big, flowery language to fill up the runtime. Then there is a third cutscene, where Banban talks about how Stinger Flynn doesn't have any organs to consume. I don't care if this is somewhat funny, it is still stupid and a waste of my goddamn time. And after 3 overly long and boring cutscenes, we get to revisit one of the worst parts of the last game, for no reason. In this sequence, you just redo the cannon sequence from Banban 2, but instead of firing cannons at the buttons, you shoot them with electricity as Stinger Flynn. This section is just as long as it is in Banban 2, and despite the main mechanic being different, it is the exact same game, which was one of the worst parts of Banban 2. Nobody liked Banban 2, but pretty much everyone agreed that this was like top 2 worst sequences. The reason that this came back is beyond me. Like, you could have just had Stinger Flynn wake up in this room and do literally anything else. I don't know why you would bring back what was most people's least favorite part of the game. Once you're done shooting buttons as Stinger Flynn, you wake up in Toadster's area, which has a prison. Here you have to collect 10 buckets and put them in the prison. Collecting a list of random objects? What innovative gameplay that we have never seen in a Banban game before. After imprisoning some buckets, there's this little game where parts of the floor will light up and you need to jump on the lit up parts. This part of the game is pretty dysfunctional because the game does not end if you step in a wrong place, and you can still jump on a lit up spot after it is no longer lit, but this part doesn't drag on like everything else, so it's whatever. Then there is the Nabnalina section, which we've already talked about, and then there's the cutscene where Nab meets Nabnalina, and it's such a wholesome and wonderful moment, but whoops, Nab gets fucking killed.
Longer miserable. I'm surprised.
And after Nab's tragic death, there are a couple of cutscenes which we are saving for the absolute insanity segment. And then we have one of the greatest sins of this godforsaken game. This is a room of just buttons. You play as Stinger Flynn, and you just hit all the buttons. And there's this set of buttons that move around at 3 different speeds in 3 different rounds. I honestly don't really mind this, although it is boring and pointless. The buttons, they go around in a circle, you just gotta hit them. It gets a little challenging with the first round is fine, second round gets a little harder. However, this is the 3rd round.
Why did they make
What's the 3rd round?
The main villain of the...
No way. This is gonna be like in Poppy Playtime when it like cuts you off because it's not actually possible. No, it's not. This is actually what it is. No way. No, this is actually what it is.
Oh my god. This is peak.
No, sure. No, this is actually what it is.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be like in I know you don't play Poppy Playtime because why would you? But in the Simon Says game, it suddenly introduces a bunch of different options, and then the game just cuts you off because it's like, no way they're actually gonna make you do that. This is actually, but this is real. After that atrocity is the Banbalina / Jumbo Josh segment that we went over. Then after that, we get some math. I'm not joking. These symbols represent different numbers, and you need to answer the given math equations correctly. I sure do love doing 10 basic math equations for no reason. This leads to the boss, which we already talked about, but what we should talk about is how to get to the room with the boss. I hope you like opening doors. Okay. I cannot believe I'm alive right now. You know what I mean? You ever
What is the point of this?
You ever see shit like this and just think, holy shit, I cannot believe this is my life? How many fucking doors are there? No fucking... Oh my god, okay. I don't care.
Oh, yay.
This is ridiculous. Oh my... This is ridiculous. This is insane.
Why won't we ever get the Opila Lounge? The OP Lounge, if
Is this
you
a
will.
joke? Is this gonna go on forever? No, this is actually just a thing they put in the game. This is actually just a thing that they believe to be reasonable.
Okay,
sound equals button and erection. Erection
Firework.
to in mouth. Oh, okay.
Whose fucking mouth is that?
Who is giving this gluck gluck right here? After defeating the boss, you pick up 2 party hats, and you put these party hats on this robot, which we will be talking about in the absolute insanity segment. You use this robot to lure away a baby Opila bird, to then use the baby bird to lure a big blue bird. The canon name of this bird is Tarta, but my chat named the baby bluebird from Banban 2 Kremby, and I'm just going to say this is the bird grown up, even though that probably is not true. So this bird will be called Kremby from here on out. If baby Kremby and big Kremby are different birds, then we're just going to start calling the Banban 2 one Kremby Jr. Anyway, you have to lure Kremby and jump on it to ride it. You then deliver the baby bird to the Opila bird and hit this button to trigger a cutscene. Can I just say how unbelievably stupid that is? This button doesn't activate anything in-universe. This button literally exists to trigger a cutscene. In this cutscene, Stinger Flynn is angry, and he makes Banban evil. How? I don't know how. I don't care. And then we have the final gameplay sequence in the game, and it couldn't be more underwhelming. You have to run away from the evil Banban on Kremby alongside Opila Bird. There will either be a pink or blue light ahead of you, and if it's pink, Opila Bird needs to reach it first, and if it's blue, you need to reach it first. Obviously, you can control the speed at which you move. This is so boring. It lasts so long. It's just moving directly forward and either slowing down or letting Kremby move freely. I fucking hate this game. And then we reach the grand conclusion, which is a really epic and intense fight scene. Jumbo Josh and Banban really get into it, and Josh is about to murder Banban in cold blood. However, Stinger Flynn stops him. Josh throws a swift right hook, which kills Stinger Flynn immediately, I guess. The shake of Stinger Flynn's fall causes Kremby to fall, but Opila Bird just straight up jumps off, This is stupid. She just jumps off. Literally, there's no other way you can twist this. She definitely does not fall. She just fucking kills herself. Also, at least 3 characters should have died in this sequence, but I bet you every single one of them is going to come up in Banban 4. We then make it to an elevator with a baby bird with us, and the game ends. Holy shit, that was bad. Now you may have noticed that despite there being so many different types of garbage in the game, it is still all completely garbage. And don't get me wrong, I didn't expect quality going into this, yet I still find myself pissed off by how much this sucks. This game goes on for so long, and it is just so boring. There are points where you have to wait for dialogue just to complete a simple task. There are points where you just collect a bunch of random objects for no valid reason. The grand finale of the game is a chase sequence that consists of only going straight forward for an ungodly amount of time. And every section that could have been good is executed so poorly that there really isn't a part of the game that I can actually call good. So yeah, unsurprisingly, this game is not good in the slightest. But we're not done here, because as you know, I purposely skipped over a couple sections to save it for the chapter that I call Absolute Insanity. Like I said, there are a couple of cutscenes after Nabnab's brutal murder. Stinger Flynn appears and transcends you to a world where you are in a fucking car with Stinger Flynn, Opila Bird, Banban, Captain Fiddles, and Nabnab is running behind the vehicle. If you need me to reiterate that, here's my initial reaction. Yes. I'm in a car with Opila Bird!
Hey, you.
Oh my god.
I'm in a car with Opila Bird!
Taking a nap. Feels like we've been in this car forever.
I'm in a car
Oh, singer.
with Opila Bird!
It's called the
Oh my god. This is peak.
I'm in a car! The bitch just screamed!
Nice.
I'm in a car
One
Oh
job.
my
with
god.
Opila Bird! This is a cutscene that consists of Banban arguing with Stinger Flynn as Flynn tries to drive to the beach but has seemingly gotten lost. They even put on a rap song to help pass the time. This song was even made by Rocket Music, which is a legitimately successful music group that is even putting on a live performance in July. And Banban and Flynn really argue it out in this one. Stinger Flynn drops the, "I am struggling to locate the being who asked for your opinion." Stinger Flynn and Banban just embody Twitter in this sequence. Now, don't get me wrong, I can find this funny. This is so stupid and goofy, and that was obviously intentional. But here's why I legitimately have a problem with this, and more so the community's reaction to it. Well, not initial reaction, because I think we all had the same initial reaction, but just the way this has played out since the game's release. This comes off as being very self-aware. This, and another thing we will talk about later on, gives off the impression that Banban is going for the parody angle with this game in particular. And that may very well be the case. It is entirely possible that because of how much of a joke the series is to everyone, the developers have decided to make it more satirical by design. However, because of how easily everyone has decided to go along with that, we are feeding into their hands even more than we ever have. The Euphoric Brothers are really scummy people, and I have no issue saying that with my chest. They have created genuinely offensive and dangerous works in the past. They have deflected criticism in the worst ways possible, they have manipulated people into feeling bad for them to deflect criticism further, and they are still rushing out really low quality products just to profit off of younger audiences. Just because they are now being all goofy and silly on purpose, that doesn't mean they didn't still essentially scam people and then whine about the response. And this game is no different from the last one. It is a bit better, but it is still incredibly low quality and therefore not worth the price tag, and was made as quickly as possible because this series is just to farm money. This car scene is absolute insanity, much like I said, but the response to this has seemingly been, Banban is now trying to be funny, therefore it is totally okay. I disagree with that entirely, and it also doesn't correct anything up to this point, because there's absolutely no way this was the intention the whole time. And the other piece of absolute insanity that I skipped over earlier is the robot called Mr. Kebab Man. A kebab is a meat dish that originates from the Middle East, so I'm not sure why that's the name, but I'll run with it. Like I said, you use this robot to lure the baby bird, but what I didn't say is that while you are pushing the robot towards the bird, it will say one of 3 lines for every push. Hand over your pancreas, behave or get banned, or 3 stones with 1 bird. Now again, I will not deny that this is absolutely peak. The 3 stones with 1 bird line in particular does bring me quite a bit of joy. However, I feel the need to say again that I'm not okay with this sudden comedic angle to the series seemingly being such an easy scapegoat for all the valid criticism. Addressing Banban's desire for pancreases in this way does not make this moment from Banban 1 any less horrendous. The behave or get banned line is a really strange thing to include when you block people that deliver meaningful and respectful feedback constantly. And addressing this incredibly embarrassing moment from Banban 2 in this way does not make the obscene lack of quality any more forgivable. I can enjoy the goofiness of these 2 moments of Banban 3, and again, they're absolutely insane to me. I will never forget this moment. I'm in a car with Opila Bird! However, this does not change anything. I am more than open to the idea of people changing, so if the Euphoric Brothers want to take Garten of Banban into a satirical direction, that is totally fine. But they are still charging real money for low-quality products, and they are doing that on purpose. Tell me, why not just take more time to work on these games? Why not replace the more filler ideas with creative and fun ideas that sure will take more effort to flesh out, but will ultimately bring the audience a more enjoyable time? It does not matter if Garten of Banban 3 is intentionally funny. It is still a really bad and low-quality release that was made to farm money. And that brings us to the end of this video. Garten of Banban 3 is an absolute disaster, and it is also absolutely insane. This game is so padded for playtime, and yet it doesn't really have a single thing about it that I can actually call a high quality, but it also has just so many moments that left me screaming, either of rage, out of excitement in a weird way, out of cringe. There's just really nothing like this one. So you know what? If there's anything I can give this credit for, it's certainly different. It's certainly unlike anything I've ever experienced. In a weird way, this game is unique, but there isn't anything fun. There isn't anything visually appealing. There's no sound design that I like. This game literally has nothing, and yet it has so much. It's truly an enigma. Garten of Banban 4 has already been announced because of course it has. I bet this game will be out July 12th. That is my theory. We'll see how that ages. I will be speedrunning Banban 3 on a stream sometime soon, so be on the lookout for that. But besides that, this channel will be taking a ban break if you will. Breaking ban. I want to talk about some more FNAF stuff, I want to review some other indie horror titles that I like, and I also just want to give this ridiculous garbage a bit of a rest. But you best believe that as the Banban tuber, I am not done. You have not seen the last of me.